Well, I want to thank everybody. This is a fantastic state. You know, we won New Hampshire 3 times now. Three.
I'm Kevin Cirilli. It's time for the Daily Debrief. Let's get right to it. Former President Donald Trump won the Republican New Hampshire primary, increasing the likelihood of a rematch against President Joe Biden. But Trump's Republican challenger, Nikki Haley, vowed to stay in the Republican race for the foreseeable future. With 94% of the results in the race, Trump won New Hampshire by 11 percentage points, the double-digit win that the Haley campaign had been looking to avoid.
Donald Trump is on pace to have enough of those delegates by mid-March. There's about 150 delegates up in the month of February across a few states, but the big pot of delegates is going to be in the first 2 weeks of March when we do dozens of states called Super Tuesday.
Haley, the former governor of South Carolina, is hoping for a strong showing in the Palmetto State during next month's primary, but polls suggest she's got an uphill battle.
New Hampshire is first in the nation. It is not the last in the nation. This race is far from over.
According to the Decision Desk HQ, Trump has a 33.7 percentage point lead over Haley. Trump is now the first Republican to win both the Iowa caucus and the New Hampshire primary since 1976, the year that the two states became first in the nation for the caucus and primary. President Biden also won the New Hampshire primary, his re-election effort pulling off a successful write-in campaign against Congressman Dean Phillips and Marianne Williamson. Dean Phillips, of course, a Democrat from Minnesota. The U.S. carried out military strikes in Iraq and Yemen, targeting Iran-backed militant groups. Iraq's Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani condemned the strikes, saying they blatantly violate Iraq's sovereignty and considers the strikes hostile acts. Pentagon officials disagreed and said that the airstrikes were in response to the group's continued attacks against U.S. outposts in the region. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said that the strikes are in direct response to a series of escalatory attacks against U.S. and coalition personnel in Iraq and Syria. U.S. Central Command said in a statement that the airstrikes targeted 3 facilities and 2 anti-ship missiles used by Iranian-backed Kataib Hezbollah militants and other Iran-affiliated groups, targeting their headquarters, storage, and training locations. The Senate is unlikely to reach a deal on immigration this week as gridlock between Republicans and Democrats continues on the issue. One of the key sticking points that's emerged is not just H.R. 2, but the issue of parole policies. The Biden administration's immigration parole policy allows for foreign nationals to enter the United States to receive work authorization, bypassing regular visa processes. But the Hill's Raphael Bernal and Al Weaver report that Republicans are fighting the policy. Lawmakers have been unable to reach an agreement on immigration for weeks. And the Hill's Alexander Bolton is reporting that conservative senators pushed back against Republican leadership in a closed-door lunch earlier this week, arguing that brokering a border security deal with President Biden might do more harm than good. Conservative Senators Ted Cruz, Mike Lee, and Ron Johnson said that brokering a deal with the Biden administration might end up costing Republicans the House in the upcoming elections. With the election year now well underway, it's unclear whether or not there is any viable path forward. eBay is laying off 9% of its workforce, 1,000 jobs. The company joins other tech companies that have laid off now more than 13,000 people this year alone. ByteDance's TikTok, Google, and Amazon have also announced layoffs. And Reuters is reporting that this year's layoffs are expected to be fewer than last year's tech layoffs, but it comes as the tech industry leads the global economy in adopting artificial intelligence. And last week at the World Economic Forum in Davos, economists predicted that the artificial intelligence adaptation phase is only just beginning. Senior leadership at the Los Angeles Times say that they are facing a financial crisis and they're laying off more than 20% of its newsroom. Billionaire owner Dr. Soon Shiong of the Times said that the cuts were necessary as the publication continues to lose $30 to $40 million each year. Remember, last year, the Washington Post also had a series of layoffs as well. And congratulations to Senator Tim Scott, the Republican from South Carolina and former Republican presidential hopeful. He announced that he is getting engaged to Mindy Nose. He made the announcement over the weekend, and former President Donald Trump congratulated Scott in that New Hampshire victory speech last night.
He's engaged to be married. We never thought this was going to happen. What's going on?
What's going on indeed? That is the question on many people's minds. Typically, Americans like to see White House hopefuls have a spouse. And of course, Scott was a bachelor, but the other senator in the state, Lindsey Graham, also is a bachelor. But a lot of people are wondering, is this a signal that in fact, he's trying to be Trump's vice president? That's it for today's Daily Debrief. My name is Kevin Cirilli. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to The Hill's YouTube channel, and come back here soon for the intersection between politics and policy.